to my channel. Today I am doing another one of my brand collections and overall brand review videos. I've done quite a few of these. I will link the playlist below if you want to see some of the other brands that I have talked about. But today is all about Balenciaga. Now Balenciaga is a brand that I have a little bit of a love-hate relationship with. I've got some things, quite a few things actually, that I absolutely love and adore, but I've also had some very bad experiences. So I will talk you through some of those as the video goes on. Now usually I do these videos in 4 categories. So I start with handbags, I then do shoes, accessories, and then finally ready to wear. Now funnily enough for Balenciaga, I don't have any of their bags at the moment. However, I did have their XXS shopping tote bag, which I sold about a year ago, and I will pop a picture on the screen if you don't know the one I'm talking about. And I only sold it because I actually needed to raise some funds for a new handbag that I wanted. But I thought it was worth a mention because I absolutely adored this bag. It was the perfect size, it was the perfect crossbody bag, it fitted everything I needed. It was super hard wearing. I used it a lot, and I think it came on 3 separate holidays with me, and it was the only bag I took with me. But by the time I sold it, it was still in immaculate condition considering the wear. The wear and tear on it was really, really fantastic. So I definitely recommend checking that bag out if you like it. And just in general, I think the leather they use on their bags pretty good and hard wearing. I do have my eye on the new hourglass shape, which I think is absolutely stunning, and I feel like that might be the next bag I add to my collection. But we shall see. I'll pop a picture up if you don't know the one I'm talking about, but it's such a beautiful shape. Anyway, moving on to the section where I actually have something to show you. I'm now going to show you my Balenciaga shoes. And I'm kicking it off with my first ever pair of shoes that I got from the brand. And this is from the Campaign collection, which is one of their earlier collections that I really felt gave Balenciaga that renaissance that they've been enjoying the last 4 to 5 years. They kind of went through a bit of a lull, and then suddenly they exploded on the scene, and they came out with this collection and and things like their knife boots, which I will go on to talk about. In fact, these are very, very similar to the knife boot in that they're very pointed. They've got that long pointed toe, and everybody was just obsessed with them for quite a while. Anyway, I love these shoes. They are probably the most comfortable heels I own, and I'm not a heel wearer. I would rather be in a flat or a trainer any day of the week. But in these shoes, which I think is probably about an 80mm heel, I can wear these all day long, every day, no problems at all. They just don't hurt. They fit really nicely. So big fan of those. And they came in multiple colours. You could have got this blue, you could have got the red, and then they also did black, and it came in several heel heights, and they also did a flat version. And I have to say, I love these shoes so much that even though they are about 4 or 5 years old, I would, if I could get my hands on them, I would definitely buy another pair, probably the flat version with a sling back in black. I just think they're such a cool shoe, and they're such a fun statement. I particularly like them when they're dressed down, so I would often wear them with oversized jeans and a white shirt. But you can also wear them with dresses. They're just such a fun statement, and I really enjoyed wearing those over the years. And then the second pair of shoes I have is a pair of boots. Now these are the ones with the big statement gold BB buckle on the front, and you've probably seen this around. They have really gone to town with these style of shoes. They did quite a few seasons. They did kind of the boots and the patent leather, but they also brought out the most beautiful velvet jewel toned collection with the same buckle on the front, and they did like royal purples and fuchsia pink, and I think there was even a sort of like a lime, sort of a highlighter yellow colour as well. Absolutely stunning. Now the one thing I would say about Balenciaga shoes, which I did say about the pair I just showed you, is they're definitely a statement. This is definitely a statement boot. In fact, a friend of mine, when I showed these to her when I first bought them, she's like, the BB on the front looks a little bit like the ABBA logo, and I think it is that kind of bold, in your face vibe, and you either love that about the brand or you don't. If you are not somebody who likes branded clothing or shoes or accessories, Balenciaga probably isn't for you. But if you like something that's fun, that's quite bold, then definitely I would highly, highly recommend it. And these boots, very similar to the shoes I showed you, very, very comfortable. I have worn these everywhere. I've worn them in the club, I've worn them out to dinner, I've worn them during the day, and they've stood the test of time pretty well. I am not a patent leather fan. These are obviously patent white, which is quite risky. Now, the reason I don't like patent leather, particularly I find in handbags, is the colour transfer can be horrendous. Once you get a little bit of colour transfer on patent leather, you cannot get it off, which sometimes you can do with regular leather. Sometimes you can like buff it out or polish it out. You can't do that with a patent leather. You are totally at the whim of kind of how well they survive. And I have got some colour transfer on here. You probably can't see, but there are some marks and a little bit like on the toe. But considering they're white patent, I have to hand it to them. They've done pretty bloody well, especially the way I've worn them. They should be much more battered than they actually are. And then my final pair of shoes from Balenciaga is another pair of boots. Now, I mentioned the knife boots earlier that they originally came out with, which were super, super long in the toe and very, very pointed. Well, this was kind of the next stage of that collection. So rather than have the point, they're still very long, but they've got this really beautiful sort of curved almond-shaped toe, which I adored. The minute I saw these, I fell in love with this shape. Funnily enough though, they actually haven't been that popular, and they definitely didn't have the same obsession as with the pointed version, which people absolutely adored. I think every fashion editor, influencer, fashionista was wearing the pointed knife boots. I haven't seen that many people rock these, but I do think they are super, super cool. Now this is in the Prince of Wales tweed, which I really love. I think it's a bit more interesting than just a black leather boot. It does make them quite wintry though, but I suppose boots generally are a winter shoe. I tend to wear these with a really wide leg trouser, and then because the toe is so long, it's just really lovely to see that little bit of that toe peeping through the end of the trouser. They also look great with a flared jean. So anything with a bit of a flare, these look amazing with. But you could also wear them with a really skinny trouser, like either maybe a leather pair of trouser or some really beautiful dark wash jeans, and wear them that way and just let the shoes really make a statement. I just think they're amazing. Big fan of those. And then I'm going to move into accessories. I only have one little accessory to show you, and that is my Balenciaga cap, which I actually got quite recently. It was my birthday about a month ago, and this was one of my birthday presents, and it's fab. I really like it. It just seems to be the right shape. I feel like it flatters with how it's rounded here at the front. Yeah, really, really like it. This one was actually done in collaboration with the World Food Programme, and it has various things, extras kind of details on it, such as saving lives, changing lives. And then it's obviously got the World Food Programme logo on the front, and then Balenciaga Paris. And I just really liked this one particularly because it had a bit more detail, but also this collaboration, they did a whole line, I think, of accessories. They did ready to wear, and a few kind of other little bits and pieces. I don't think they did shoes, but they did like little bits and pieces, and a portion of the profits went to the charity or the foundation. So just a nice little added thing that they do. And Balenciaga do quite a lot of collections like that, where they try and give some of the proceeds to charity. I know they did a line especially for the wildfires that were happening in Australia about a year ago, and they did a very cute collection with koalas on it that was very, very sweet. I'm now going to move into my final category, which is ready to wear. And I have to say, I'm going to kick it off by saying ready to wear is probably my favourite part of Balenciaga. I have a few pieces to show you, and I love them all. This is the first. This is my Balenciaga oversized denim jacket. Now, I actually bought this pre-loved and pre-owned. They're quite expensive full price. I think they're about £1,200 to £1,300. And I got this for about 600, I think. I bought it from Designer Exchange, and I actually have a video where I'm unboxing some other bits and pieces I bought at Designer Exchange. So I will link that below. It's definitely worth a watch if you're interested in kind of pre-loved luxury fashion, because they're a great place. They're a collection, and the assortment of stuff they have is amazing. Anyway, this jacket has been worn with everything. It's literally the one jacket I will obsessively wear, and it's very oversized. This is a size 36, I believe, and I think they go down to a 34, so it's not quite their smallest size, but almost. And you can just see the size of it. It's absolutely huge. It is cut to be big. It's cut to be oversized, and it just looks phenomenal with everything. Even if you wear it with a really elegant dress, this is such a fun way of like giving it a bit of an edge and roughing it up a bit and just making it look a little cooler and a little less elegant. Now mine on the back has Balenciaga written across it. I have to say a few of the crystals are actually coming off the B. I don't know if you're able to see that, but they are coming away. Now it was like that when I purchased it, and I have to say the quality of that is a little bit disappointing. I don't mind because I know I bought it for a bargain price, but if I had bought it full price, I probably would have been a little bit upset about that. But it is what it is, and as I said, because I got it at a bargain price, I kind of just let it go. But it is slowly getting worse and worse, so I do worry that eventually maybe all the crystals might fall off. But anyway, I will swallow that for the fact that it is amazing. Like, it's cut amazingly, it looks incredible with everything. I'm just a huge fan. And then my second purchase that I have to show you in the ready to wear section is this Balenciaga hoodie, which is very similar to the first pair of shoes I showed you. It's from the campaign collection. It is that same sort of logo, and it also has it here on the back. But what is interesting about this particular hoodie is that it's from the kids department. Now they go up to an age, I believe it's age 10, and that's what this is. And if you are a UK size 6 to 8, you will fit into their age 10. It is very fitted. It's not that classically big, baggy, oversized style that is so typical of Balenciaga that I've already talked about. But it is ideal for if you like to throw a hoodie on underneath a blazer. I love that look personally. And this works amazingly because it's just really perfectly fitted. So I really recommend looking into the kids section if you are on that more petite side. So and just to give you an idea, something like this costs about £200 in the kids department, but it probably costs about £500 in the adults department. And then my final ready to wear piece to show you is this incredible blazer. This is the Hourglass blazer, and you will see that it just has this really beautiful shape on it where it sort of dips in at the waist and then comes out almost like a bustle from the Victorian or Edwardian era. It's such an interesting shape, and it's so flattering. I wear this with joggers underneath. As I mentioned before, I'll wear it with a hoodie underneath if I want to casual it down. I'll also wear it with jeans. It looks amazing with leather trousers. You can wear it over dresses. It's such an amazingly versatile piece. I bought this from the Bicester Village boutique about a year ago, and I think they retail for around £2,000, and I think I paid about £980, which was a real bargain because actually it was still full price online at the time of purchase. But definitely, if you are looking for a Balenciaga piece, it is worth trying to either get in contact with somebody at Bicester Village, because I know they're doing virtual personal shopping at the moment because obviously they're closed with lockdown, or just waiting for the store to open and trying to pop down and get a visit in once we're finally out of the never-ending lockdown, because they have some seriously good bargains, and they actually have some really classic pieces, a little bit like that blazer, which are really good value for money and often quite a new season piece. So that is my little sneaky tip, is if you can either get in contact with the store or go visit the store, it's probably worth it. Now that's everything that I have to show you that I own, but I do want to have a little bit of a quick story time with you where I talk about my less good experiences. Now, as you saw, I have 3 pairs of shoes that I absolutely adore from the brand and have been a huge success. However, there was another pair of boots that I bought called the Slash boots, and I will put a picture up so that you know what they look like. But they were basically the most beautiful boots with a really nice, it wasn't quite a kitten heel, but it was a very low heel height, and I adored them. I had them in this it wasn't quite a dove grey, but it was probably the most beautiful grey. It was so versatile, so beautiful. Anyway, I wore them about 4 or 5 times, and then the little heel cap started to wear down on them. I don't know, I'm sure you know what I mean, but for those that don't, at the end of a heel there's always like this plastic cap, and it basically just protects the heel, and these can be replaced very, very easily. You can usually take them to a cobbler and they'll do it for you for like £5 or £10. It's a very simple process to replace them. Anyway, my heel caps had worn down on these boots, so rather than take them to the cobbler immediately, I kind of left them for a bit. It's like, well, I can't wear them, I will eventually take them in, and I didn't really get around to it. And about 8 months later, I was finally like bulk taking some shoes to the cobbler, and I grabbed those boots and I took them with me. Anyway, I showed them to my guy, who is the best cobbler. He is amazing. He's just in a village like 1 down from where I live, but he is amazing at what he does. And I just want to put that out there because it's not him not been capable. Anyway, when I showed them to him, he said, oh, that's a sort of interesting shoe because the balance on it isn't quite right. It doesn't look like it should be able to support your weight. But anyway, let me have a look at them and I will get back to you and you can come pick them up in a few days. Anyway, a few days passed, I went to pick them up and he said, so remember how I told you there was something off about those boots? Well, in order for that very small heel, which is slightly at a slant, to support your body weight, they've had to make that entire heel out of metal. I was like, right, okay. And he's like, because it's made of metal, it means that you actually cannot replace the heel cap on it at all. It means that I can't do anything. And he did say he tried 3 or 4 different ways of trying to get a new heel cap on it, and it just wasn't possible. I didn't think that much of it at the time, but I thought I would just reach out to Balenciaga and just ask them what they advise. And I sent them a message and just said, look, I've taken these into my local cobbler. He says they're not fixable due to the heel being metal. Could you recommend somebody that might be able to do it for me, to be able to fix it? And they got back to me and they were a little bit cagey. They're like, well, you obviously didn't buy these boots directly from us, so we can't help you and we won't repair them for you. I was like, oh, no, you misunderstood. I don't need you to repair them for me. I just was wondering if you could maybe advise of somebody that you know, ideally within kind of the London area, or if not, a cobbler that I can post them to, he'll be able to fix them. Like, no, we can't help you. You need to contact who you purchased them from, which happened to be Net-a-Porter. So I bought them from Net-a-Porter and I got in contact with them, basically just forwarded my email chain with Balenciaga, and they eventually got back in contact with me and said, send them to us, we'll have Balenciaga look at them and then we'll get back to you. About 2 months passed before I heard anything, and I finally got an email and they said, so we've spoken to Balenciaga and you are correct, they cannot put a new heel cap on it unless we totally replace the heel, and to do that would be more expensive than the cost of the shoes. So I was a bit like, oh, so are you saying that nothing can be done at all? Like, you can't fix them, you can't do anything? Like, yes, that's basically it. And so I was a bit like, but I've only worn them 4 or 5 times. Are you telling me that you can literally only wear these £700 pair of shoes 4 or 5 times? And basically they just said, yes, that's exactly it. So I was a little bit dismayed, because when I spend that much on a pair of shoes, I expect to be able to wear them for a decade. And I don't mind repairing them and having to touch them up, but I expect the structure of the boot to be sound enough that I can wear them continually. So they then put up a bit of a fight, but I basically started throwing that kind of all that lingo at them, like they're not fit for purpose, you know, you should make it aware to people that they are only for occasional wear. And they did eventually relent and they said, okay, yes, you're right. Sorry, my camera literally just cut out. But as I was saying, before it did, that it was totally unreasonable expectation for people to spend that much money on a pair of shoes and only be able to wear them a few times. And I'm sure there were some people who lost out on that. So if they didn't complain, they probably didn't get their money back. And I feel for them, because that shoe was definitely, it wasn't a good one. And the fact that I had to put up the fight, and it was quite a prolonged fight, just left a little bit of a black mark against the brand. But having said that, there were several items here that I absolutely adore and I'm obsessed with and I can't get enough of. So in general, I tip more towards the love than the hate when it comes to Balenciaga. Now, with all these videos, I do a quick roundup of my favourite pieces and the pieces that I recommend getting. Now, I definitely think the cap is a great entry piece. If you haven't yet dipped your toe into the Balenciaga world, I think this is a really, really great first buy. They are about, I think they're about £250, the caps, which is a lot of money. But if you think about how much you can wear them, like obviously in the summer, you'll wear it a lot, but I am wearing them a lot at the moment because of, as I've mentioned, we're in lockdown. And the only thing to do is go on a walk. We are going on endless numbers of walk, and these are quite good. Just like when it's a bit windy or a bit wet, I find this is a really, really handy thing to have in the wardrobe. So I would definitely recommend the cap. Obviously, I love this blazer, and if you have a bigger budget, if you've got sort of between, as I said, I bought it for around 900, but they can retail for up to 2,000. If you've got that kind of money, I do think this is about as chic as you can get, and it's just so beautiful on, and it goes with everything. Just effortlessly stylish. And again, the same goes for the denim jacket. I feel like, again, it's just a piece that you will wear a lot. It obviously depends on what your aesthetic is. If you're a little bit smarter, maybe go for the blazer. If you're a little bit more casual, then I would go for the denim jacket. But this is a great piece, and one of the things I love about it, because it's oversized, you can throw it on over like really chunky knitwear like this, or you can just throw it over a dress. So it offers a lot of versatility. And then finally, there are the shoes. Now, Balenciaga shoes, as I've mentioned, very, very comfortable, but they are a love or hate kind of Marmite shoe. And I feel like that's true of a lot of their shoes, probably 90% of their collection. Either you like a statement and you like to be bold with your shoes and you like to be maybe a little bit wacky with your what you wear on your feet, or you don't. And if you don't, I would say, stay away from the likes of these shoes. But if you do, they are a great investment. And I know some people might say, oh, they're a bit seasonal, but I've been wearing mine for 4 or 5 years and I love pulling them out. And every time I put them on, they just feel amazing on. And they are very versatile. For example, these boots, I used to wear them. I have a Rixo maxi silk skirt that I would wear with these, and I just love that look. So you can kind of make them look a little more unexpected. You can put them with softer fabrics, even though they're quite bold and striking. You can kind of dress them down and soften them. So there's definitely, with Balenciaga, an element of wear it with anything, but wear it boldly. And if that isn't really your aesthetic, if you're much more pared back, much simpler, then I probably wouldn't recommend anything for you. But if you'd want to make a statement, if you like a bit of a logo, definitely look at some of the ready to wear and definitely look at some of the shoes. I hope that was helpful to you. I hope I didn't waffle on too much. If you do have any questions, if I missed anything out, pop them in the comments below and I will get back to you. If you enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up. But until next time, bye!